I use polymerization to fuse them together.
Tonight, on the news, we bring you
Transformers.
Transformers.
The only thing worth talking about. Dracula was Frankenstein.
Cut.
So it's very incestuous.
I'll be your head. Hello, I'm Justin.
And I'm Kyle.
And we are the Mirror Twins. And do you like coffee?
I do.
Do you like broccoli?
Yeah.
Broccoli coffee. Do you like pizza?
Yes.
Do you like tacos?
Yeah.
Pizza tacos!
Now that sounds good.
We are combining things together. Do you remember a few years ago, mashups were really popular? Like mashup songs? They would take two maybe opposing, maybe similar styles and mash them together. Linkin Park actually had a whole album of just their stuff with Jay-Z. It got so popular, radio stations were doing their own mashups. That was a thing for a while, and then it just kind of quietly phased out. Well, now, toys are doing mashup. They've actually done it for a while. The latest thing we've seen now is this Ninja Turtles and He-Man.
Yeah.
Smashed together.
Well, He-Man and everything. He-Man and wrestlers.
Yeah, He-Man and wrestlers for a while, right? So today, what are we talking about, Kyle?
We're talking about Transformers, otherwise I wouldn't be here.
It's true. The rest of the time we talk about other stuff, he's just CG'd in. He's not even here.
I'm out.
I actually have a card where it's like, Kyle, you want to talk about, I don't know, something other than Transformers? And he just hangs up.
We were talking about crossovers and all the brands where Transformers and some other property crossed over, and they had a little collab there. It started with the Star Wars in 2005.
Okay.
Probably remember seeing these on the shelves. These were recognizable Star Wars vehicles that came with a tiny little pilot, and they transformed into a mechanized version of the pilot. So
Yes.
you had a TIE fighter that came with a teeny tiny Darth Vader that transformed into a giant mechanoid Darth Vader.
They seemed kind of junky at the time.
Apparently in Takara, they made more complicated ones that were only sold in Japan. I don't know if those ever came over to the US.
Okay.
Being not a Star Wars fan, I didn't really follow it. Very big and blocky, and plus 2008, that was the time when they were still big, chunky boys. Like
Okay.
some of them were very big. The collector market was not nearly as big as it is now.
It was budding. It was a
It
budding.
was budding, and it was still for kids. Everything
Okay.
was for kids, and it still is now, but they recognize more of the collectors. That line went from 2005 up to 2008. In 2008, they kind of redid it, remade some of the toys, again, the Star Wars ones, but they didn't come with the pilots, and they also added some of the Marvel figures, which I did get some of those. So here's Iron Man.
Okay, it looks like he turns into a 1940s airplane.
No, he's some sort of weird jet. And there's Spider-Copter, the guy.
Spider-Copter guy. So these make about as much sense as Darth Vader turning into a TIE fighter.
I'd say they make less sense. Darth
Because-
Vader drove a TIE fighter.
Okay.
Do you remember Iron Man flying this thing? Do you remember Spider-Man in a helicopter?
Oh, all the time. He had that in his dune buggy. Actually, he should have turned in the dune buggy. You know, that's a canon, like, ridiculous thing that he has.
Oh.
Supposedly, I think it's a dune buggy. There's something in the old canon, like from the 70s or 80s, where even in the comic they made fun of it. It was like, you swing from buildings. Why do you need this? He doesn't turn into that. He turns into a helicopter.
Yeah. I don't know if you could tell with the plastic. It feels a little more flimsy.
Yeah,
Little more
very
hollow.
hollow. It's light. Even has that weird kind of milky color to it a little bit. You know, it's not like a bright red.
And they made all the favorite Marvel characters. They had Hulk and Ghost Rider. Some of these were remade into other characters. It was Venom or like it might have been Thor. I can't remember.
Do you like them?
They're okay. They made several of those all the way up to 2011. They took a little break. Are you transforming it?
I'm gonna try.
Well, they went all the way to 2011.
Right.
Lots of recolors and different versions. They did the Star Wars again. Lots of Marvel.
That was
pretty much it. It was Star Wars and Marvel.
No!
The Star Wars one, they made like 12 waves of them.
You're missing a missile.
It is a missile.
Missing missile. Oh!
Don't you remember Tony Stark using that all the time?
I remember one of the Iron Man suits when he got that chiropractic adjustment would actually allow him to turn into
He became
this.
very flexible. The Star Wars ones made more sense. They came with little pilots. So it's like Darth Vader always flying the TIE fighter. The TIE fighter's not enough. I think my TIE fighter is going to change into a giant version of myself.
So he pilots himself. I'm close. Close only counts in.
Horseshoes, hand grenades, and slow dancing.
We'll just say that's close
That's
enough.
close enough.
He's a bomber. He's a weird... I see what you mean. This makes absolutely no sense. And it's hideous. And it's not a real vehicle.
They took a little hiatus. And then in 2019, they did the crossover thing. They rebranded it as Transformers Collaborative. Made way more sense. They were just a lot more fun, in my opinion. They were higher quality in general. Of course, you did have a pretty significant gap in technology. The first one they made was Ghostbusters. This is Ectotron.
And this was excellent.
I thought these were really good. This is a heavy retool of Combiner Wars character. It is a licensed 59 Cadillac Mueller-Miller ambulance. So this had two licenses, the Cadillac license and the Ghostbusters.
And it's an original character. Most of these are,
Yes,
right?
which is what they should be. Just
He's
works
got the
better.
Ghost pack.
Like, it's silly that that's supposed to be Spider-Man. Is that Spider-Man piloting it? Did he turn into, like, what's the story behind it? Doesn't make any sense. But he is the Ecto-1 that would turn into a Transformer, or a Transformer that scanned the Ecto-1. I can't remember. There was a comic book.
He was on the movie set, and...
No. He's helping the Ghostbusters.
Oh, so
it's
there's
in universe.
Ghosts exist.
Yeah.
He's got a Transformer proton accelerator.
Becomes the top of the car. All the bits and bobbles that was on the top of the Ecto-1.
How do Transformers deal with ghosts?
Well, there was Ghost Starscream, remember? In
Yeah,
season 3?
so he's called in to bust him whenever he pops up.
Interviews with this guy, we know that busting makes him feel good. So they made two versions of this. This is the classic version from the original movie, and then they made the Afterlife version. A slightly different, remolded head, and he's all rusty to look like the movie. They changed the ladder. They fixed the ladder. I think they put on the other side because I believe he's incorrect.
Okay.
Maybe it's the other way around, but I believe they put the ladder on the wrong side. And then the second version, they corrected it. The next one was one of my favorites, if not the favorite one of mine, is Gigawatt.
So Transformers X Back to the Future. So you notice a theme here, rather than choosing just a popular license and smashing things together and coming up with, well, what can they transform into? They're cars. Cars transform.
Yeah, he's Gigawatt or Gigawatt, depending on who says it. He can be the car from the first movie or the second movie. So the wheels do flip down, and he's got the Mr. Fusion you can take on or take off. He's another heavy remold of an existing character.
We did do a close-up look of him, as well as comparing him to other toy DeLoreans, including the Lego Back to the Future Time Machine as well. So check that out. Here's the card, and we also have in the description if you want to just wait to the end of the video and then click on it. Now, are these in scale with each other?
Somewhat close enough. This was licensed as well, DMC and Back to the Future. So double license on him as well. Beautiful renditions of these cars. You know, two pretty rare cars. One really rare, one super duper rare. When this movie come out? 84, same as Transformers.
Oh,
when did this movie come out?
85?
85.
The year after Transformers.
The year
came out.
after Transformers. Very nice. I love
nice.
these. These are very high quality. I really like them. This one has the gold wings.
Now, you mentioned the double license. Do these guys have a double license price?
Yes.
We all know. Okay.
Yes. At the time, I think this deluxe, the one he's based off of, was $20. They're $25 now, but he was almost double that.
Oh, he's $40?
Yeah.
Now, how did you
I don't
get
think
these?
he was quite that much. Got him off the website. So there were two versions of him. This is the regular retail release. Walmart had a limited run. So scalpers bought up immediately. They were gone in seconds. Basically, the only difference, I think, was they had a sticker and they were numbered. And it was like and they made 1,985 of them for 1985. Then they had Top Gun.
Okay.
This is Maverick. This is the Top Gun license.
Look at the head.
Yeah,
he's
it's
kind of
helmet.
milky color.
Yes. He was not as popular. I actually got him on sale on the Walmart website. I got him for a really good deal.
Why is he so milky looking?
There are lots of theories why he looks like that. He also doesn't look quite like a Transformer. He doesn't have really the boxy aesthetic to him. He's just kind of odd. The experts/nerds online are surmising Lockheed Martin, who owns the license to that jet, they were very strict on what the jet could look like. And so the paint detail and the type of plastic they tried to use just kind of turned out weird. He's a good toy. He's fun to transform. He's very posable. He looks pretty different. The paint on the helmet is amazing. He just looks weird. He has a weird aesthetic.
Is
Tom
he
Cruise's character.
dirty? What is that?
That, I believe, is the camo paint that the real jet looked like. I didn't bring this one because he's a big boy. The one that came after Top Gun was the Blackbird from X-Men. And his name was Expanse.
So he's not wearing wearing pants anymore.
No, like expanding, expanse, which is a really weird name.
I think X pants. I used to have pants, now I don't have pants. I'm sans pants. No, I'm X pants.
He was a larger boy, and he was also a retool of an existing figure. It was a movie figure, and he had a weird transformation, lots of junk on his back. He came with a little Wolverine and a little Sabretooth, which was just weird. Why Sabretooth and Wolverine? So it's Sabretooth versus Wolverine and a giant robot jet.
So you would prefer two heroes?
It should have been Rogue or Cyclops, the leader, because Expanse looks like Cyclops.
Yeah.
He has the goggles and the belt thing, or a little Professor X.
Does he
or
have
something.
claws too that come out?
Yeah, like Psylocke-looking claws are purple.
Did he have a comic too? In fact, did all of these have a
No,
comic?
these guys had a comic.
So because of Transformers, now Top Gun, Ghostbusters, and Back to the Future all exist in the same universe.
Sure, yeah, they do on my table. They do.
And X-Men.
Except he's way out of scale, because that robot's this big, but a Blackbird is an enormous jet. He should be he's not as good as these guys. He's got a weird transformation. I guess you could say famously, the wings were on backwards. They just popped off. They were friction joint, so you just switched them. But it was weird that they got that
came
wrong.
in
the package.
Oh,
the
wow.
wings were wrong, and I think it's because they're supposed to flip up and stay, but they don't. But if you have them reversed, they do stay.
More like X-Lax.
That doesn't even make any sense. And then we had 1994.
Oh, okay.
Jurassic Park.
Now, I'm a huge Jurassic Park guy. I love Jurassic Park probably as much as you like Ghostbusters and Back to the Future. This was obviously the recolor, basically. They didn't change much from the Beast Wars Megatron with a different head. Was there anything else different about him?
This one had a ton more paint.
Okay.
Not on the robot, as you can see. The robot's
On the
very
dinosaur.
plain.
Yeah.
But on the dinosaur, look at the face.
Wow. Oh my
Like all their
goodness.
gradiated paint and everything. And this didn't sell well, which I don't know why. I think it was the cost, because it came with two. It came with the Explorer as well. Also a double license, a Ford license, and the Jurassic Park license.
Well, the Beast Wars Megatron was $40, right? Or was he 50? So a double licensed dinosaur.
Plus another character.
Plus another character. Gosh, how much was that two-pack?
It was a lot. I
Very,
like to
very
think of
cool.
those things. The Explorer was very good. This is Tyrannicon Rex. That was her name.
I remember people were making fun of that, how lame some of these names are.
Ectotron is great. Gigawatt or Gigawatt.
Ectotron sounds like what 6-year-old you and me would have come up with.
That's why it's so great. There was a cross between your favorite artist, Jay Balvin. You know who that is? I have no idea, but they made a crossover with him. It was a reissue of a G1 Soundwave, but yellow and a bunch of weird...
You did not get that one, I assume.
No, that was dumb. I don't even know who that is, plus why G1 Soundwave. The Explorer, he had the awesome name. His name was...
Wait. Let me guess. Explorer.
That would have been better. His name is JP93.
Oh.
And it's just capital J, capital P, 93. They also made a second set, which was the Dilophosaurus and the Jeep. Again, double license. And that was Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus.
That's hard to say. And Autobot JP12, because that was a number on the Jeep.
As well.
So now Ectotron is looking
Oh
pretty good.
my god, yeah,
Gigawatt's looking pretty
Ectotron, yeah, they are.
So he was made to look like Dennis Nedry. He came with the yellow
Raincoat.
He came with that hat.
Oh, okay.
The little bucket hat. He came with the Barbasol. He did have a fat face. Somehow Energon got into Dennis Nedry's Jeep and he took on some of Dennis Nedry's characteristics. Well, maybe they're waiting for someone to name them awesome something. It won't be the worst name you hear.
Off-road Jeepatron.
How about Cryo something? Like, 'cause he's keeping the...
okay.
Or
What
just
do they call them?
Barbasol.
Barbasol.
Cryo,
Wow.
What was Cryogen? Was that the company in Jurassic Park?
Engine.
InGen. Well, how about Cryogen? Or
Cryogen. Yeah.
because he was stealing the...
Yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
like it.
Moving on. Then they had the G.I. Joe cross Transformers. And you remember these. You've seen these.
They were bad.
I didn't like them. I didn't collect any of them, even when they went to near dirt cheap prices.
So they had the Hiss tank that turned into Megatron. It wasn't its own character. It turned
Which
into
I didn't
Megatron.
like. I didn't like. Well, one, they were the 3 3/4 scale. The Hiss tank came with a 3 3/4 Baroness. Very cool packaging, and just using the character of Megatron, he would have been much larger than what a Hiss tank would transform into.
Hissatron.
For one, I don't think it should have been 3 3/4 scale. For two, it shouldn't have been legacy characters. They should have done original characters like these guys.
Why did they break the pattern?
They were G.I. Joe toys that happened to be Transformers as well.
But they were still branded included as far
They
as
were
the
still-
toys as part of this line.
But so was that Soundwave.
the bot mode really suffered. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought you told me G.I. Joe people actually designed it?
It wasn't from Takara, or that's what
People say.
people were saying. It was designed completely in-house because they're so big, because they have to fit a 3 3/4 character in them. They had to cut a lot of corners just to make it affordable. So it's not a $150 toy. Because if it was made with this quality and it was that big, it would be very expensive.
$100,
$100, $150, whatever.
Wow. So they made the His Tank, and what was the other one?
There were two more. The All Striker Bumblebee, which was apparently the worst one. One of the better ones that people liked, which was the third one, the Thunder Machine from the Dreadnoughts.
Okay.
And that was Soundwave. You know, they're very hollow, simplified transformation.
Did they actually function as vehicles? I know you said they fit in them, but as far as like, did they have rolling tires? Did they?
Yeah.
Could you use them as G.I. Joe vehicles?
They were G.I. Joe vehicles that could also transform. So
Okay.
they started with the vehicle. If you're a 3 3/4 collector and you have a passing interest in Transformers, these are super cool. Thunder Machine roll up, and oh no, there's so many Joes. Well, this is also Soundwave. There's a rumor that they're going to make an Optimus Prime Mobat that's supposed to come with a 3 3/4 General Hawk.
but not motorized.
Well, no, of course not.
That's weird.
You would have paid $500. You know how
And how would it
expensive that is
transform?
now?
How would it transform?
How would it transform?
I thought the 3 3/4 line was dead.
No, like Super 7's picking them up.
Yeah, but as far as Hasbro making them, I thought they were gone. I thought they
don't wanna make 'em
deleted that
anymore.
line. So they're making a Mobat that transforms into Optimus Prime.
That's the rumor. It hasn't been officially announced.
Well, he's going to be enormous.
He's going to be the same size as probably the His Tank, because that wasn't a giant toy. Moving on, you remember Tonkinator?
No.
I believe it was Target exclusive.
Oh, is that the yellow Devastator?
Yellow and black.
Okay.
Devastator. This was the G1 molds of the Constructicons. You could make Tonkinator, and these were all Tonka trucks. It was the exact toys, except they're yellow and black, and they had Tonka branding on them,
Okay.
which
Now,
Hasbro owns.
I was going to say Hasbro owns them now, right?
Technically, it was in the collaborative line, even though they're cross-branding with themselves. So it was very incestuous, which is I'm fine with.
It makes it cheaper, right?
They
'Cause
didn't
they're
have to pay the licensing to
Pay
themselves.
the license to you. I mean, to me. How you doing, money? Didn't G1 Devastator get re-released in G2 in yellow?
I don't know if
Yellow?
it ever came out. I think it was one of those ones that was a mock-up and it never happened.
Got
I
it.
could be wrong on that, but plenty of third parties did it, and I even have one.
Third-party G1.
It's not third party; it's knockoff,
Oh, okay.
and they're on a slightly smaller scale, so he's even smaller, and they're
Oh.
very cheaply made.
I am Devastator.
Yeah, it's Babystator.
Okay, Babystator.
Babystator.
Deva Babe.
So that was.
Oh, that sounds like a hot chick Devastator. Put that in the AI generator. See what comes out of it.
Uh-oh, I'm scared. Then they had a Street Fighter. And did you see these? They were Versus packs. These were really cool packaging. These were re-releases from 2018 for the 35th anniversary of Street Fighter. And these were packaged doing their signature moves. So M. Bison was doing his twirling thing, and I think Ryu was doing the fist. I can't remember.
What did
the
they
name
turn
of it.
into?
They were Titans Returns mold. So they were all headmasters. They used a hot rod mold for Ken.
Okay.
So it was like a robot version of Ken that could change into the head of himself. RC was repainted. She was not a headmaster. It was a Generations RC. And she was Chun-Li. Here we go. Here's Ken.
Okay.
Look at that.
Okay, so they didn't remold anything. No new head, nothing. This is just a
and
recolor.
this is kind of neat. This is pointless. They made two versions. The Hasbro one had a different chest plate that folded up more, and the Japanese one was this one. So I actually have the Japanese version of the mold, then of course the Hasbro version of the mold.
I didn't realize they made tiny adjustments like that.
They did sometimes back in 2018. You know, they stopped that a while ago. 2018 was when this mold was
Got it.
used again. I think the mold's actually older than that. But when it came out to America, the American release, it was...
I love how they paint the eyebrows on him.
This was like 2021.
Check out these chromed out red blasters there. Did the original have chrome
No.
blasters? That was just for
That
him?
was just for him.
Okay. Do you have all of them?
I have the two sets, yes. M. Bison and versus Ryu, which was Optimus Prime. They call it Ryu Optimus Prime. So I guess Ryu has to change in Optimus Prime's head so he has his fighting power.
Okay.
Something like that. And Bison is Megatron.
You're making something very silly make sense. I love
it's
it. I love
fun.
that.
It's so
I
much
love
fun.
that.
And this was such a fun line because they were little characters.
Yeah.
So it's like Optimus Prime could talk to Ryu and it's like, I'll be your head.
Dun, 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 dun.
They're all painted really well. They all look pretty cool. And then they made a VNR, a Volvo big rig VNR 300 truck.
I remember that, an Optimus Prime, but a licensed Volvo truck. And it was like...
I have both the ones they made. Now, originally, the rumor is this was supposed to be Amazon Prime. And it was supposed to be whatever colored truck with a trailer with the Amazon Prime logo on it. And because Amazon uses Volvos. So it'll be another double license. That never materialized. On one of the live streams, they actually said, well, our partner didn't go through with this. So they actually mentioned that there was a partner for this. So the first one they made was the holiday one, which I didn't bring, but we'll put it up here. He's beautiful. He's got an Autobot symbol with a Santa hat on. It's Holiday Optimus Prime. I call him Christmas Prime. And he's red and green, and all he needs is a beard, and it's great. Taking a break from fighting Decepticons to deliver presents to all the good little Autobots and children. And then they made a version of it where it was red and blue to be more classic. And they were saying, and this makes total sense, if Optimus Prime came to Earth now rather than 1984, this is what he transformed into. But it came with a really nicely painted trailer. Like it was the most...
But it was G1 colors.
Yeah, it was toy colors. So it had the blue stripe on it, which he didn't have in the cartoon. So it looked... The trailer that VNR red and blue Optimus Prime came with was probably the best looking trailer.
Awesome.
That they made. And they're fun toys. They transform really cool. The next one that they made was the Stranger Things. And this was Code Red.
Was this a Target exclusive?
This is a Target exclusive.
So it turns into the Surf Boy Pizza van that was featured in the show Stranger Things, which you've never seen.
Have you?
I have. I've watched all
And
of
it takes
Stranger
place
Things.
in the 80s, right?
It takes place in the 80s. And actually, quick little side note, apparently Stranger Things, a lot of it was filmed here, Georgia, is close to where we live. I saw this pizza van in person. I was at an O'Reilly's Auto Parts. I was really behind on watching it. Before I saw that part of the show, that new season, I had my daughter with me, and I was like, oh, look, it's the pizza van. Oh, that's cool. And I just thought it was like some new pizza. I had no idea it was a prop from the movie, but the guy apparently who owns or worked on the van lives around this area. And was there, and I saw it and didn't know. It didn't take a picture, didn't anything, but I was there and I saw it. But yes, I digress.
It's good.
Really, really cool van. Again,
you own this toy, right?
I do.
What do you think of it?
I thought it was really cool. It was it was just complicated enough, but still simple where you can do it pretty quickly, because I like when it is more intuitive and it goes back and forth pretty quickly. I like his big fat gut or chest gut, whatever. He has all these little accessories, which I don't understand. I don't know why he comes with this stuff, because it doesn't go anywhere. You just have to stick it to the side of the vehicle mode.
It has to do with finding those upside down monster things.
I guess, yeah.
What are they called?
Demogorgons.
Yeah, those. Stuff. The pizza goes inside as a magazine.
Yes, I love it. Pizza box that goes in. That's the spicy meat sauce coming out there. Another original character, so it goes back. They've had all these deviations, and then they went back with this guy. Volkswagen and Stranger Things.
Again, a big retool on an existing mold. Very cool packaging.
Yes, it was a pizza box. And then
it looked like a Surfer Boy pizza.
Yes.
It had printing on the inside to be pizza grease.
Yes.
And then it looked like a pizza on the top. Very cool packaging. Going back a little bit, we'll do the Universal Monsters. This is Dracula, which he has kind of an odd story. Apparently there was an old story from a long time ago of a Draculus. It was never made, it was never put into fiction. This was Mind Wipe. This was from Titan's Return as well. They took off the headmaster gimmick to make him look like the Bela Lugosi, and he's even black and white. They put a little bit of color on him just to...
Yeah, he has a cool red bat head. And a cloth cape. When you see Transformers with any kind of cloth, soft goods and all.
I don't know, maybe Draculus took some power from Dracula. Maybe Dracula put his soul into a giant robot. He looks really cool. He has different hands. The whole head and the front chest is a different mold.
Chronologically speaking, he came out before the G.I. Joe.
And they made a second one. They made Frankenstein.
That's awesome. I've not seen this one in person yet. I was hoping they'd continue the line for the Munsters. Are they going to?
It doesn't look like it right now. It looks like he was the last one. Apparently, he almost didn't get made, but they already had the mold and everything. He's like, could we just put this out? And Universal was like, oh, okay.
Did they change his hands? Or did the original...
Yeah, he has different hands.
Oh,
to make him do the monster thing.
Okay, because I was going to say, usually Transformer hands are like this, but his are like this, so he can...
Yeah, which is weird, because most people, they just turn their elbows out. It's like, but he's like this. Like he's gonna play piano.
He's got a Frankenstein head, which is awesome. The Tesla coil looking. It's alive! safe. The Frankenstein that everyone does the impression of was a Frankenstein that was actually played by Bela Lugosi. And the reason why that Frankenstein did that is because in the movie he was blinded. And so he was walking around because he couldn't see. Everyone associates that with Boris Karloff, which was the famous Frankenstein. But
he never did it.
He never did that. His Frankenstein never was blinded. It was the Bela Lugosi Frankenstein that did that. So confusing for people. It's like, wait, no, Dracula was the Frankenstein that did this? Yes.
Yes.
What?
Dracula was Frankenstein. So this guy was off the impactor mold.
Impactor. Okay. So he had impacted molars.
No, he impacts people. He was part of the Wreckers, so he was like special forces for bots that didn't mess around.
So they're not going to continue because I'd love to see a mummy, creature
a
from the Black
Wolfman?
Lagoon, a creature from Wolfman. That's a shame.
Because they made a wolf, Weird Wolf, or Wolfwire, he was called. Titans Return, same. And then they, from Transformers Cyberverse, there was a wolf character. They could just slightly remold that one to make him look more hairy, and that's a great toy. I have that one.
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, and then Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles,
So
the newest.
recently announced Party Wallop, which is a horrible name, but we're used to that by now.
You've been party walloped. Good
I don't
reaction.
know.
You were right with it.
I was ready. I'm ready to sell it, baby.
Yeah. You guessed, oh, it's going to have changeable headbands or changeable heads or something. It'll be able to turn into all four of the turtles was your guess. And you were right.
I was really close.
But they actually added one more, right? They could be just green, right?
There's just green. He could be Party Wallop, or he could be robot versions of all the turtles. My prediction was he came with different heads, and they had different grimaces. Angry face, a stoic face, a party face, and only the top changes. So you get to change where the eyes are.
So there's the different color bands, and then they have a plain one with no band. And
It
that's
looks
Party
that
Wallop.
way. We haven't seen that separately, so I don't know if it's underneath or it's actually a fifth one. Where the belt is, apparently that's a rotating mechanism. And he comes with all the weapons. So I think he looks awesome.
Why not Shell Shock?
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Or Pizza Time. Come on.
Pizza
something.
time. Yeah, how about, okay, so my ideas were Leonardomus, Raphaelicon, Donatello-bot, and Michelangelo Tron. Michelangelo Tron.
Which one were you running out of ideas?
No, they were all great. Is that worse than JP93?
X Pants is still the worst for me.
Then there's the rumored Knight Rider. Rumored that they're going to continue with the Star Wars.
Knight Rider would be a cool one. Yeah.
It'd be easy one. He'd be this big.
And they would go in this line. The 80s vehicles.
What would you want?
The Dumb and Dumber dog van.
Get out.
Okay, I'll leave. I know you mentioned the 18 van.
Did you watch Airwolf?
That would be cool. What's another famous vehicle? Let us know if you come up with any in the comments.
They could do Back to the Future 3, Ghostbusters 2, more monsters, of course. We already mentioned that. How about G.I. Joe vehicles that were in this scale? They could do a Hiss tank that's this big. How about other Hasbro properties? How about a Nerf? Just do one of the existing Optimus Primes, paint them in those egregious colors
Those
of Nerf.
90s Nerf.
The 90s Nerf. And instead of his normal rifle, he comes with scaled versions of famous Nerf guns.
They do make an Optimus Prime that turns into a shooting Nerf gun.
Yes.
Oh, James Bond, Aston Martin, like the original James Bond. I know Lego has done the Fast and the Furious car.
My Little Pony.
My Little Ponyatron.
But what if you had a jet, a cool-looking jet, that transformed into a pony? Like a robotic pony.
You literally just said my greatest wish and desire. That's
You
all
want
I
a jet that transformed into a giant robot pony.
Yeah, that I can ride. And if it's rainbow, that would be better.
Well, it'd be Rainbow Dash, right?
yes, Rainbow Dash.
Because it would be a fighter jet.
Oh, Tron. So what do you guys think? Do you want to tell us what you want to see out of this line? If you feel like we've earned your subscription, please go down there and get a little subscribe, a little tickle, a little nudge, if you will. And we'll see you again very soon.
Now, leave us insane adolescents.
That seems so much meaner. Like, get out of here, crazy. Like, yeah, crazy.
crazy
Like,
kids.
you want to,
Yeah.
leave us, you insane adolescents. Are we done?
I think we're done.
All right, we're done. Let's get out of here.
You crazy kids.
Yeah, crazy kids.